What's up, everybody? It's Goose. Today I'm going to talk to y'all about my sacrifice pasture, sacrifice paddock, and why I haven't moved the goats on a fresh pasture, fresh forage yet. It's kind of shaded, so it's hard to tell, but you can see how good this grass looks on just the other side of the fence compared to what they have. I mean, there's really no forage to speak of back here, and I'm doing that for a reason. So they've been back here. They've been in this same pasture, except for me moving them up front for a little while to trim my yard. They've been back here for 3 months now. It'll be 3 months tomorrow. Which I'm gonna move them to Mary's property today, which it looks really good down there. I'm gonna make a different video about that though. I've been got random stuff laying around. I've been moving stuff around, getting ready for spring and trying to get projects done. Try to walk slow so y'all can see this forage. I mean, most of it, luckily they don't eat it all the way to the dirt for the most part, which if they was in a smaller pen they probably would, but I mean they have, this has got to be close to 3 acres back here. So I mean there's been some green for them to nibble on. This stuff, it's about 6 inches tall here, but most of this and then this they ate all the way down. I mean that ain't but, oh, this ain't but about 2 inches. So the forage back here, it's about 2 to 6 inches. There's very little of it that's actually 6 inches tall. Most of it's about 3 to 4 inches. But the reason I've done this is, basically just to give the forage up front a head start. This was my biggest pasture, and plus I wanted to roll hay out in the woods to hopefully get some grass growing out there, and I've been feeding the goats out there the past 3 months. I've rolled out between 5 and 7 bales out there, maybe even 8. I bought some junk hay. I found some cheap hay. Well, my neighbor did, and he asked me if I needed any. So I bought that just to spread out there and cover the soil out there. Let's see, there's hardly any grass around the pond. But yeah, I just chose this pasture because it's the biggest one, and this is where I needed to spread hay to try to get some grass growing. That's something I've been doing back here a few years. This is the hay right here is really thick. This is a ditch all the way down there. I've been trying to fill it in. But just been spreading hay all over. And from this point on, when I first got out here 4 years ago, this was dense woods, trees, and shrubs. You couldn't even walk through here. You could, but you was pushing through stuff. That's how much we've cleared it out the past 4 years. So all this was really dense. You can go back and look at some of the older videos and see how dense this was. But just been letting the goats eat the little stuff and get rid of it. I've been going through here and dropping the junk trees with my chainsaw, and then burning the stump out, and then just spreading hay on top. Right here where this little grass, ring of grass is growing. Some of them I roll them out, some of them I just feed, like that one. I got it in a cattle panel, and I'm just feeding it there, and I'll let them eat most of it, and then I'll take the hay and I'll spread it out. So that's where all this came from, but it's doing really good where it was actually sitting. Still got limbs down from the wind damage and that tree, obviously. None of that was in the way, and I had too much to do, so I just left it alone. But I've spread a lot of hay out here. You can tell it's pretty much covered. I fed that bale there so I could fill in around here. There's too much junk in the way. I need to clean that up, and then I can spread that hay out over there. But I went all the way in the back with it. Pretty much everywhere where it's not real thick with brush. That area right there is really thick. It's still growing, so I'm letting the goats eat it. anywhere that it's open space, I've spread hay out. And I've been doing this for a few years, but this year I spread out a lot more than usual. Usually through the winter, I just keep moving them. But the thing is, I didn't have enough forage, and if I just keep moving them around, they're just going to keep the forage beat down. So I just chose to lock them out here. And another benefit of that is, I mean, they've been dropping manure out here for 3 months, so they've been fertilizing all this for 3 months now. And then I'm gonna take them out of here for probably 2 months, and then just take them through here real quick and let them tip it and take them back out. The goal is going to be to get the forage really thick out here this year. Here's the ditch. I've been filling in with hay and compost. I mean, it was like a 2-foot drop right here. It's really hard to tell on the video. But yeah, and here's the little hay ring. Yeah, so I mean, there's hardly any forage to speak of out here, which I'm still dropping cedar trees. I'm about out of them. Here's, you can see it. Sunlight's messing with me. That's one of the last cedar trees I dropped, and I've kept them in cedar for the most part. But yeah, I've just held them back just to get the front a good head start, and I'm about to show you all that. I'm making a full loop. So here's the ducks hanging out. I think the girls finally accepted him. They're doing good. Ducklings are getting big. I thought 5 of them were going to make it, but she lost one more. She's just got 4 now, which they're pretty good size, so hopefully all of them make it. But yeah, I mean, especially around the pond, I mean, it's really beat up. I'm really going to try to make it a point to get grass growing around this pond this year. I just want to give it a good enough rest where grass gets going. Which, I mean, if you look, you can see why I'm having such troubles. I mean, it's just clay and rock. Clay and rock. I've spread a bunch of hay out here. The animals have obviously dropped a lot of manure. But yeah, I mean, it's just so rocky. I'll keep spreading hay around here, and I have enough pens and land this year that I should be able to give this a good enough rest where I can get this growing, and that's going to be the main goal as far as getting forage to go, is to get, I just want dense grass around this pond. That's what I really want, which I'm not using any fertilizer, and I quit buying grass seed. I might buy 1 bag this year, but it's just got so expensive. I mean, 2 years ago you buy a 50-pound bag of fescue for $50, and now it's like $120 or something now. Which, if I knew it was going to rain and the grass was going to grow, it would be worth it. But you know, when I plant it out here, you just got to hope you got to hope it rains and the grass grows, because if it gets dry, I mean, all the grass just dies out. So hard to justify spending, you know, $120+ on 50 pounds of grass seed just for it to sprout and die out here. Which the goats, I mean, they look good. They all look really good. Which I've been moving them up front, letting them graze my front yard and my backyard, so they've been getting some high quality forage up there every day or so. I'm about to do that with them now. But yeah, I know it looks rough out here, but the mistake I made the past 2 years was moving them onto the fresh pasture too soon, before the grass got a head start, and they ended up just beating it up so bad, and they kind of made it look like this. And then summer slump came around where, you know, it kind of dries up, and then the grass quit growing because it was too short and it wasn't retaining moisture because the sun was hitting the soil. So yeah, I've done it a little different this year. I'm so tempted. I've been so tempted to put them up front. Trees fell on the fence, and I was really tempted to go ahead and move them up front. But I just knew it was going to set me back if I did that. I'll pick up trash out here for the rest of my life, I guess. Yeah, I mean, which this is a rocky area. It just looks rough out here, and I know. But holding them back and letting this stuff up front get a head start, that's going to allow the grass to keep thriving once I put the goats up here, because they won't be able to eat it all the way to the dirt. You eat it down too low and it has a hard time recovering, which I know this area looks rough. It's really shady right here. There's a lot of cedars here. I've trimmed the limbs off of them to get it off my fence line. But it's clay over here and rocky. Here's a big rock. I know this is rough, but and this is where the chickens are. I move them I've been moving about every 3 weeks, and that's a white chicken that's been dust bathing in coffee grounds. I've been moving about every 3, which it looks fine over here, but there's always one area they beat up, and they've took that to the dirt over there. I'm gonna try to start moving them every 2 weeks, and I think that's really gonna help the pasture out. Which after I move them, it looks great, but they get it beat down pretty good when I wait 3 weeks. But yeah, I mean, this is what I'm wanting. It's got to be about 18 inches tall. Which this side of the pasture is pretty shaded from the neighbor's tree line. But I'm gonna go up here to this better stuff. But I want this stuff to really get thick and looking good before I put the goats here. Which this is the pasture I'm gonna let them kid in. So this is gonna have another month rest before I even put the goats in it. Here in a minute, I'm gonna move them in my backyard over here, let them trim that up for a few hours. Then I'm gonna take them down to Mary's property. I'm gonna leave them down there for about 2 weeks. And then I'm gonna move the nannies back over here. I'm gonna put them in that pasture over there that's been rested for 3 months. Leave them there for 2 weeks, let them get the high quality forage out, and then I'm gonna put them over here right before they start kidding. But I mean, look, it's just so many different kinds of grasses, which I'm terrible at naming grasses. I do know this one is hairy vetch, which is kind of a vine grass. It's a legume, so it adds nitrogen to the soil, and it's high in protein, so it's a good forage for the goats. I think this right here might be bluegrass. And just look how thick it is. It's almost 2 foot tall. It's putting seed heads on. A lot of people try to avoid putting seed heads on with cattle, but goats love seed heads. That's what they go for. So I don't mind some seed heads. Getting long, but I'm wanting to show y'all this. I mean, just look at all this. I mean, it's 8 different kinds of grass right here. At least 5. I wish I could name them, but I don't. I'm working on that. I'm no good at it. But I mean, this is going to have another month rest before I put them in here. So it's just going to be exploding. All right, I just showed y'all where the chickens are over there. Their last pen that I had them on for about 3 weeks was right here. You can see it's pretty beat up, which this is right in the sun. This is where grass grows good, so it shouldn't be this beat up, but this is where I had them. They were here 3 weeks ago. It's just now starting to come back in, which I mean, it looks good where it's coming in. It's just thin where they scratched it up. But before here, they were right here, and you can't even tell. It's starting to look really good. It's kind of thin there, but I mean, no dirt showing or anything. Yeah, it's looking really nice. They were here for 3 weeks, and then they were there for 3 weeks, and now they've been back there for 3 weeks. Haven't moved them because I haven't decided where I should put them just yet. But okay, let me hurry up. I just want to explain this a little bit because looking at this, it's like, man, why are they back there on the dirt? Like, go ahead and move them. Look how nice this looks. This is just, man, some good looking forage up here. And I know, and trust me, I want to move them. But last year and the year before, I moved them too soon, and I just never recovered. Look at this line. You can see this is a little thicker than this. I've grazed them back here Probably 4 or 5 days, like half days for 5 or 6 hours, which it still looks good. I changed my pin up. This is a different pin from that now. That used to just be all connected, but I moved the fence that way, and now I just got this 100-foot roll of Premier One electric net fence that I can take down when I want to. Only reasons it's up right now is because I'm about to put the goats back here. But yeah, just look at the difference. You know, same property, same sun, same rainfall, and this looks this much better just because I haven't let the goats stay here. Like I said, they were back there for 3 months, so big difference. And then look here. This is 3 months rest. There hasn't, well, this has probably got 4 months rest. There hasn't been any goats over here. I think I ran the chickens over here maybe 3 months ago or so. And I got to put the dogs over here sometimes to get them out of the way. So dogs have been over here a little bit, but there hasn't been anything over here eating the grass. So I'm not going to go up front and try to keep my neighbors out of it. And the front of the property up here, it's really rocky, so I struggle to grow anything up there. You see all this is kind of thin. I fed a couple bales of hay here like 2 years ago, and I left it too thick, and it's just now starting to recover. But there's a ton of clover coming in there, so that's cool. But yeah, just look how good the forage is. That's why they're in the back, just to let this recover, so when they get up here, they actually have enough forage to keep them going. The goal overall is to grow enough forage during the growing season to have enough to get them through winter, which I'll probably always have to feed a little bit of hay, but if I can grow enough forage, enough cool season forage going into winter, it'll reduce my feed bill drastically. So that's the goal. See, there's different forage here. I had the chickens here for a while and they really beat it up, so there's different stuff coming up now. But yeah, that's it. Kind of just rambled about the same thing, but I just wanted to show you all the difference in the forages. You see where the goats are. I mean, there's nothing back there, and then up here where I've let it rest for 3 to 4 months, I mean, it looks awesome up here. Really high quality forage, and down at Mary's looks really good too. I'm about to show you all that, which I probably would have moved them down there about a week ago, but then we got all that wind damage, and I had a lot of stuff to clean up and take care of down there. So, but I'm gonna move them up here and let them graze, and then I'm gonna make a video about moving them down to Mary's, and I'll show you all that down there because it looks really good. Like I was saying, I'm moving them down there today. Here in 2 weeks, I'm gonna move the nannies in here and leave them in there for a week or two, and I'll just leave the 4 billy goats down at Mary's, and that's gonna be more than enough forage for them. I won't have to feed them. And then right before the nannies start kidding, which will be the middle of May, I'm gonna try to put them in here a day or two before they start kidding, and then, I mean, they're just gonna have some great forage. I mean, this stuff will probably be twice as thick as it is now, and I'll leave them here for about a month so they can all have their kids, and the kids get a few weeks old so they can start moving. But that's the plan. That's why I've held the goats off this fresh pasture, and that's why I've done a sacrifice pasture this year. But this has got long enough. I just wanted to show you all the difference in the forages from where I've had them and where I haven't had them. I'll see y'all later. Goose out.